The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 14th day of October, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Linda's. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with the Michaela Ian, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by Peoples. I want to stop there, though, because before I even ask how you doing today, Hills, look, folks, if that intro music don't get you dancing and ready for your day, seriously, you must be even more grumpier than me. I mean, even I, who has no rhythm, shake a little leg and a little shoulder every now and then. Like, come on, our intro music got to be the best of the morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. You know, no rain on my jog this morning, so I'm here. I'm ready to go.
I'm good. You know, little teething pains with the puppy. Teething pains. You know. Cleaned up a lot of poop after the show yesterday.
Hold on. Let me make sure I highlight that for my wife. This puppy cleaned up poop. Okay. That's written down. Yep.
Lots of it. Pee, just yeah.
Let me write lots of
but
poop.
You know, it's part of the process, they say.
Yeah, process that
they say.
Yeah, we don't have to go through. But yeah. Look, I'm happy to hear your puppy stories, reinforcing my thoughts. I love dogs, folks. Don't get me wrong. I love dogs. You know, we have a dog. Her name's Bella. She stays in Bermuda, and very far away from her. But we love her. And you know, we don't have to take her for walks or anything, and we see her about once every other year. And she is a cute little Yorkie. She doesn't like other animals, but she loves people. So let me know if you want to holler at. But actually, Bella made an appearance on the show back in.
She did. I don't want to see. Hermes doesn't bark like that. Like she's a quiet, chill dog. So it's not her fault, that she didn't get taken out to use the bathroom. That's not her fault. So like, I can't be mad at her.
Oh, Bella will bark your ears off.
I don't do that.
Oh yeah, she'll let you know she is in the building. Anyway, good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as Leah Dean and Maria Hodel stop by to discuss the Designed Impact series. The Daily Play is a name that plays, and here's the hint. We're focusing on the United States again today. You thought it was going to be easier than that?
Okay, fine. Because I mean,
you got
the way my mind works, like immediately I just start visualizing, because it's not about remembering things; it's visualizing, and then the answers just popping up for me.
Yeah, you'll get this one. You got all 5 last week. You'll get this one.
I did. Last week was like my pride and joy. That was my favorite.
However, if you get today's answer on the first try, I think you're a next level brainiac, but I'll leave it at that. All right.
Okay.
Nicole Walker says, good morning. You may want to consider crate training to avoid all that mess. I don't think Michaela's looking at it as her responsibility. Honestly.
I mean, kind of, but like, so she has a cage, like a big cage, and then she has a crate that she came in, but then there's like a fence that we put around so she can be out and free. But out and free means stepping in her own poop. So that's just not it.
Oh, I haven't had breakfast yet.
Sorry.
So you got to share a picture of Hermes, right? You got to share so people can see how cute she is.
Yes, I will do.
She is cute, cute, especially knowing she's not my dog and I don't have to clean up the poop. That's what makes her cuter to me. But look, let's get to today's question, folks. So look, we've been dealing with a pandemic. Even without a pandemic, I think traditionally, especially as Bermudians, we are very much involved in the politics of our country.
Yes.
I think social media adds to that. So the question of the day, folks, is what are your expectations of a government? What are your expectations of a government? Because they were doing these press conferences when the pandemic first started, and it seemed like everything they were doing, people were against, and then they changed it, and then people were against. Like, it's almost like a can't-win situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know me, I am critical of a government when it's necessary. So I'm not here to defend a government, but I'm really trying. I think it's time to have a conversation amongst ourselves to figure out what exactly are we looking for in a government? What are our expectations of a government? So that's your question for today, folks. What are your expectations of a government? And I'm expecting some good ones. Michaela, you're not. I don't know. I couldn't read your reaction just now. Your face. I don't know how you feel about this one. Usually, I got a sense.
I mean, my basic expectation of a government, and I say basic, is to listen to the people who elected them. Like, at a basic thing, that's what they need to be doing. They need to be listening to the people who elected them. They need not come across, and I say come across, as a dictatorship. And every decision that is made should be in the best interest, not just of the people who elected them, but of the entire island.
Yes.
Every decision made should be in the best interest. So when we're talking about, like last week, we had the whole conversation about the post office and the My US. Is that in the best interest of Bermuda? Probably not, So I think those are just basic things, I find, like basic things that shouldn't even have to be discussed. I also expect the government to be visible. Yeah. I don't expect, us to be in a financial crisis and we don't hear Bo Peep from the finance minister. I don't expect, there to be all these COVID deaths and huge rise in cases and children unable to go to school and silence from the primary, which is what we had, and then we had a waste of time press conference just so that he could be visible, so those are just basic things. I mean, of course, there's a whole lot of other expectations, but these are standard things that I think everyone, whether you voted for this government or not, expect.
Yeah, I've got you. I hear everything you're saying, and I think I don't think it's rocket science. I think you said pretty standard, basic things. Question again, folks. What are your expectations of a government? And I mean, Michaela listed pretty basic things. One of the key things, and I think many people forget this, especially in politics, is you don't govern for the people who elected you.
No.
You govern for everybody. You don't just respond to those who support you or like you or in your political party. You respond to what is likely in the best interest of the entire population.
Yes.
So I echo that point, Michaela. Sonia Clark says, what she believes her expectations of a government: create policy that stimulates the country involving the majority. I'm Carla John and Kathy Bromley-Kills.
My expectations are that elected leaders are smarter than the general public on complex issues. Sorry. I also expect them to communicate clearly and often. Carla, I would like to think that's true as well. I would.
Our good friend, she's been on this show before, Kristen White. There was this thing on Twitter over the last few days about red flags or something. So it was like
it's like a trending thing,
right? A trending thing, and her trend was, she said something about politicians who've never read books. Red flag, and I mean, when to Carla's point about smarter than the general public. I don't think when you have no true criteria other than winning a popularity contest, you're really not going to get the smartest and the best. That's the reality. The smartest and the best tend to avoid politics, and that's truth. I mean, when you think about it, the people who the population cries for to get into politics, they don't want it because they don't want what comes with it. They don't want to likely work alongside the people that maybe you refer to. You know, so that's I mean, yeah. Cherie Dill says smarter. That's a huge expectation.
Listen, as soon as I saw it come on the screen, I was like, smarter.
Yeah, let's go to Kathy Brumby.
Not to run this 22 square mile island with 6,500 civil service. Listen, the civil service has been bloated since I first started being a reporter. So first started actually being active and into politics and what was going on in the island when I was 19 in 2005. And I was honestly shocked by like everything, especially the civil service, like, and the way that it runs and how government just doesn't have the like to just reduce it.
Well, I think there's a deeper conversation there, and not to get off track, but the civil service is what it is because of how private entities were, how they were in a time previously. So I think that's a deeper conversation in terms of how it became bloated. But I think the effectiveness of it is what I think she's referring to. Like, if we're gonna have a 6,500 people in there, like, what are they doing? Can we prove that it's working? Can we prove that we're getting value for money? The truth of the matter is, and this is many things, you know, it goes back to what Nadir Wade said last week, the manager of Belco, about job security and longevity. Like, it's not about job security and longevity. It's about skill security. Have they evolved their skills? How has their government department improved while they've been there? What are the expectations, the performance evaluations? They are public servants. So how does the public get a hold of their public performance evaluations and so on? So again, question, folks, what are your expectations of a government? Quinell Francis says politicians should be able to hash out the necessary policies and not be so on hand in every situation, and let their technician officers do their job. So basically let the civil servants who are hired to do the job, not the political involvement. Carla John says Bermuda used to have some amazingly intelligent politicians. When was this, Carla? I was born 1989.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I'm asking when and who. I honestly,
I don't really want to.
I'm not joking. I just want to know, like, who would you consider smart based on who we have right now? Sherilyn Simmons says exactly smarter. I just can't anymore. But look, folks, what are your expectations of a government? I mean, I'll give you mine. My expectations of our government is that they do one thing. In government, I look at it as sales. When you ask me what is the first skill or thing a salesperson needs, I'm going to tell you listening skills. Listening skills. Like, to me, a politician should be there to listen more than they chat.
Yes.
And I'm not picking on the premier, but the premier seems to love talking more than he does listening. Right. And so I think that's probably one of the biggest issues that I have, and with any government. My expectation is that they will listen to the people, all of the people. And once they listen and understand, they will actually probably be in a better position to make decisions in the best interest of the population. Because when you listen to them, you understand what they believe is best for themselves. You understand that maybe it's a consensus that if we do this, it probably makes more sense. No, other times where sometimes the population doesn't know what's in their best interest, yes, when they vote certain political parties in power. When the majority votes for a certain political party, knowing that this political party isn't in their best interest probably, but because of race or whatever, they vote the party in. So yes, the majority democracy doesn't always work. Let's be honest. But at the end of the day, if you get democratically elected, then you have to democratically listen and do as the people who put you there or who didn't. Yeah. What they request, require, and need.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead. Yes.
I was gonna say, another expectation that I would have of a government is to be well versed about what's going on in terms of their policies, their deals, any initiatives they have, like all of them. All of the people who make up the government should be well versed in everything. And I expect the government to, I know this is a stretch, but to be truthful. I do. And I don't expect them to spin things based on the narrative that they wish to create. Yeah. I wish them to be truthful. I wish them to be truthful to their constituents, to the entire island, to everyone, and not try to sell us the narrative that they want us to believe. That is what infuriates me.
Yeah, indeed. Before we go to comments, I just want to say, folks, what I laugh, but truthfully, she is absolutely correct. Like, it really seems hard for politicians to be honest. How do I say that? Well, let me use this example. I don't like the term "numbers don't lie," right? Because numbers, you can tell any story you want with numbers. And when people start talking to me about numbers don't lie, I start to question people's sense of understanding, right? For instance, political parties will use the exact same numbers to tell completely different stories. They will use that same number. Like if the measurement's 1 to 10, they will take the number 7 and tell completely different stories as to why 7 is good or why 7 is bad. So numbers can tell any story you want them to. And political parties, that's what I take it as Michaela saying, tell the truth. No, if you tell the truth, you don't have to sell a narrative. But here's what I also say about politics. And I've said this to the premier and the government on numerous occasions since 2017. And I used to say it to Mr. Kenner and Mr. Dunkley as well. An effective government is like an effective leader. You don't have to tell people what you're doing for them. People will feel what you're doing for them. They will know they're benefiting from what you're doing.
Exactly.
You don't have to tell them.
No.
Let's go to some comments. Mark Arthur Phillips through Carla John Kills.
My expectation of the government is to set the environment for business to be profitable. Yes. I expect for government to be effective and efficient to the benefit of the people. Lois Brown Evans, I think this is in the answer to intelligent politicians. Lois Brown Evans, Julian Hall, Walton Brown, even John Swan was intelligent enough.
I will not get into that today. Sonia Clark, universally, you actually winning a contest to become a leader. Smarter is a joke, but resources is important. We have to really assess and separate monsters from civil servants, and that's questionable. And again, I agree with you. You can't paint all civil servants with the same brush.
No.
But also, again, back to the politics and leaders. It's a contest. It's a popularity contest. You don't need a skill. You don't need to be intelligent to win it. Teresa Ann Marie, I read her comment. I expect crystal clear transparency in the very least, not private agendas pursued behind the scenes. Carla John says numbers don't lie, but people do. I'm like, no, I think no, numbers can. Numbers are not absolute. They don't, what the point is, they're not absolute or exact. Okay. Statistics course, right? You know, I'm honest. You all are like families. I'm just going to be honest with you. So statistics is a course I had to take over at Bermuda College to get into graduate school because I didn't do too well in it in undergrad, right? So in the statistics course, I'll never forget, the professor asked the class, do we all know what the safest car in America is? And back then, everyone always knew Volvo was considered the strongest car in America, right? And everyone's like, Volvo. She said, no, the strongest make of car in America is a minivan, right? And she says, do you know how they come to that conclusion? Class didn't know. She said, the reason a minivan is considered the strongest, the safest car in America, the safest make of car in America, is because the drivers of these cars usually transporting young children and they drive safer. So they're less likely to get into accidents, right? Folks, the numbers say that minivans are less likely to be in as many accidents as other makes, right? It has nothing to do with the car being safer. It has everything to do with the people who drive them operating more safer than others because they have children in the vehicle. So when we talk about numbers, they do lie. They can lie based on the narrative that's being sold. So just because these cars are in less accidents doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to buy a minivan because it's a safer car. No, they're not safer. The people who are operating.
It's the driver. Yeah. I mean, I get what Carl is saying in terms of numbers don't lie. And I'm of the opinion that data is data. It's how you interpret it.
Thank you. That's the point.
That's it. Data is data, you know?
I think you're not looking at it like a politician, Carla. You're looking at it like a real person. You got to think like a politician. Stop with the variables and stuff. We're trying to get somewhere here. I'm telling you, we're talking about what they do. You know? She's right, but it's about that narrative that goes back to the narrative point that Michaela used earlier. Nicole Walker and Kathy Bromby-Kills.
Mm-hmm. I expect them to be more efficient by transitioning appropriate departments to be more digitally accessible. Financial assistance, immigration. Why are we still filling out papers? Listen, oh my God, this is like the bane. I have to go to the courts to fill out something. They won't even... I had to beg them to email me the form. And then I'm like, can I send this back to you via email? No, you must come in. Yeah. Why on earth do I need to come in? Why? Why?
Janae Pereira Edna says, to hear the people and at least take into consideration our concerns and opinions, we need action that will benefit the people, not their pockets. Sonia Clark says, I meant minister, sorry, oh my God, to her earlier comment. And let's just wrap it up with these two comments. Yes, Carla, yes, you are right, the variables, but we're talking about these lot, Carla. Come on now, we're talking about these lot. And I don't want to be rude, but I want to speak. She mentioned Walton Brown earlier, and Walton Brown was honestly one of the last really, really conscious politicians in the PLP. And I don't say that just because he's no longer with us, but we had many private conversations, agreements, and disagreements. But he had a conscience. He governed with a conscience. Michelle Whitehills.
Politicians of yesteryear were business people. They owned successful businesses and were able to navigate the nuances of business, which supported the ability to run the country as a business, hence maintaining balanced budgets. We also had powerful opposition, which kept them on their toes. Running a government takes both sides doing their roles well. We don't have this now. I agree with you. And this is what I saw when I was a child and I started to, when I was in high school. The people in charge ran successful businesses, so they were able to run the country.
I said that when the premier was on. I asked, remember one of the final questions I asked was about, none of his people really have any skin in the game, right?
No.
And, he said, well, we rely on civil servants and this and that. And I think people miss the point in that. The point of when you own a business, you're taking risk. When you're running government, you're risking other people's money. Mm-hmm. That's the point I was making. Are business people better politicians? That's arguable, but can
I think so? I honestly
budget better. Well,
I think so.
Business people aren't good leaders and bosses. If we're going to be honest, a lot of them aren't good bosses. So being good politicians just because they're good business people, I'm not sure it's necessarily the same. But I think to your point, Michaela, I think the budget and the country was probably in a better position.
Yes.
So that's what
when you're running a business, you're regularly going over financial spreadsheets, all these sort of things, because you want your business to be profitable. If you are not doing that regularly,
Yeah. Lee, we need to hear what your expectations of a government are. We're going to put you on the spot with this one.
It's simple. You've got to listen to the people. You have to. And I can't state that enough. Like we said, we run a popularity contest here in Bermuda. There are a lot of politicians who I would not necessarily vote for in my constituency. Only because of the fact that I know that they're not going to even, they're only going to show up on the doorstep during election time.
I got to ask you though, if Michaela and I ran in your constituency, which one of us would you vote for?
Maybe Michaela, not so much you. I don't know.
Well, it's time for that news break. It's got to be because she's taller. She's taller. She's discriminating against short people.
If anything, short people should stick together.
Not in this case. Not in this case. All right, vote for Kales, folks. Leah, over to you.
Thanks, Jamala, Michaela, and good morning to all of those who are tuned in with us today. I hope everyone is having a great start to this slightly rainy morning we're having. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Do you feel you have what it takes to run the island's biggest law enforcement departments? Well, now's your chance as an official hunt has been launched for a new head of Bermuda's prison service. The Commissioner of Corrections post was advertised 3.5 years after Lieutenant Colonel Edward Lamb, the last permanent commissioner, was seconded to the National Anti-Money Laundering Committee as project manager. Now, the role was filled in an acting capacity by a senior prison service officer after Colonel Lamb's departure. If you were wondering what would be required, the commissioner's responsibilities include the management of prisons and for ensuring public safety and the rehabilitation of inmates according to legislation and policy instituted by the legislator and or the ministry or Minister of National Security. Now, the recruitment and interview process will go through the necessary hiring protocols, which is in keeping with the Public Service Commission guidelines. In other news, a 72-year-old woman was hurt after being struck by a van that rolled from its parking space in Hamilton yesterday morning. Now, the incident happened near the junction of King Street and Reed Street just before 10 a.m. Emergency services were called to the scene and were told that the pedestrian was walking in the area with her husband when a parked, unoccupied vehicle appeared to have rolled from its parking spot, struck a street sign, and then knocked the lady to the ground. The woman is said to have sustained abrasions to her knees and was taken to hospital for further checks and as a precaution. Police are asking for witnesses to come forward. Meanwhile, 3 more COVID-related deaths were announced last evening, raising the death toll from the virus to 95. The latest update showed that there were just 12 positive cases, as active cases have dropped to 437 from the 658. The test positivity rate now stands at 0.4%. The number of hospital patients remains at 37, but there are now 8 people in intensive care, down from the 9 on Monday. And Michael Sims cruised to a comfortable win at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship local qualifier at Port Royal Golf Course yesterday. The former Web.com tour player carded 1 over 72 for the second straight day to finish 4 shots clear of the nearest rival, Kamiko Smith, the defending champion, at 144. Now, the third and fourth qualifiers are professional Shaka De Silva and amateur Damian Palanyandi. For Sims, it is the 3rd straight time that he has qualified for the championship and 2nd time that he has been the medalist. And a tribute concert to honor Bermuda's first Olympic gold medal winner will be held at Victoria Park on Monday. According to a large group exemption notice published in the official Gazette, the gathering will allow 183 people between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. for the Flora Duffy tribute concert and reception at the Hamilton Park. In the event of bad weather, the event will be moved to the Earl Cameron Theater in City Hall. The notice states that the concert would be a safe key event and that masks must be worn indoors and outdoors if 6 feet social distancing cannot be maintained. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 81 and a low near 74 degrees. There will be sunny periods, but a few showers are lingering in the area due to weak low pressure. Now, tonight will be partly to mostly cloudy with 1 or 2 showers, mainly evening. Winds will be west-northwesterly light, veering northwesterly overnight. By Friday, though, high pressure takes charge, bringing predominantly dry and sunny weather right into the weekend. That's all for our Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. But before we go, here's a little helpful tip from your favorite community pharmacist. Garlic contains a sulfur compound, ajoine, which has antibacterial, antiviral, and antimicrobial properties. Now, putting a garlic clove in your ear like an earplug is one of the quickest ways to relieve ear pain, ear infection, or headaches. Speak to your trusted People's Pharmacist about other natural remedies that have been proven effective. Now let's head back to Jamal and Michaela in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
As good as garlic is, but do not get caught with garlic on your breath, folks. Leah,
Just in your ears.
thanks so much for that. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.
We're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll be back with Leah Dean and Maria Holder. This is going to be a good one. Do not go anywhere.
Better Than Bouillon is a family business, a food producer for the organics market who believe that great recipes begin with premium ingredients. This aptly named brand is aimed directly at the primary stages of meal preparation in the kitchen, replacing traditional bouillon cubes and the like with bases made from organically produced meat and vegetables, resulting in a higher level of purity and more robust flavor. This month we're featuring Better Than Bouillon organic bases made with roasted beef or chicken or seasoned vegetables. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors. And not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Salter's bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
Welcome back to the big show. She's Michaela Ian. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at People's Pharmacy. We have some very special guests we're bringing into the conversation right now. Let's welcome Leah Dean and Maria Holder. Welcome to you both and good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm still on the garlic in my ears, right? So much wisdom happening on the Daily Hour first thing in the morning.
Yes. I'm going to have to ask Michaela to try it and tell me how it works.
Oh, I have to be the guinea pig. Okay.
I'm just saying, I mean, stranger things have happened. But look, thank you both for coming on. Let's get right into the conversation. Designed for Impact. For those who aren't aware, what is Designed for Impact and how did it come into fruition?
So Design for Impact is a women's conference and event series. We started in 2017 in a room with 37 women. We then, I think the next event was 66 and then 300. And then in 2019, we came back with White Chair Wisdom, which was just over 250 women. So we've been looking to bring women together to connect and inspire change. And as you guys mentioned at the beginning of the show, this pandemic has been incredibly challenging for many of us. You mentioned that social media sometimes can contribute. And so what we're looking to do in a virtual and safe environment this year is try to just offer some inspiration and motivation, but we're really excited to be here today to talk to you about it as well.
Awesome. I love it. So talk about your target audience for this event.
Marie, you want to take this one?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. So our target audience is literally any woman from the age of womanhood, maybe even a little bit before, teenagers as well, all the way up to 150. So any woman in Bermuda, and actually, I shouldn't just say Bermuda, any woman in the world who wants to come to optimize your life, a DFI masterclass is able to come. We would love to have you. And I know that each woman brings her own uniqueness to the table so that in the end, we all get to share in what's special about each one of us.
And Michaela, if I can just add to that, one of the things that's been incredibly, I think, rewarding for me looking back at our events, we've always had women, I think 7 decades, like we track it. So from literally 15 all the way up to 70 plus. Every event we find sponsors or we sponsor students from local high schools. So we think it's really important that we're starting to invest in our women at any age. And that's been one of the incredible things about Design for Impact. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, what industry you work in. This is an opportunity to come together and just get some inspiration and develop professionally as well. So we always have programming that helps us to develop both personally and professionally because, we're whole people.
Absolutely. So now that we know who the target audience is, what can people expect from this year's event? Give us a rundown of what it's going to be like from start to finish.
All right. Well, this is the best part. So we're going to start our morning off with a keynote. Stacy Danford is a neuroscientist, and when I tell you she's phenomenal, she's going to break down how we can rewire our brains to deal with what we have been experiencing in this pandemic, but also what are we going to do going forward? How are we going to reinvent ourselves? Can we recreate what will be our new normal? So she is going to talk to us in the morning. And then we have one of two very special experiences right after Stacy. We're going to talk about dreaming big and dreaming forward. And then for the lunchtime, we're going to have a networking lunch. So one of the big things about our events is that women get to interact with one another. Women get to meet new people, meet people of like minds, and kind of really forge a strong connection going forward. So we're going to still do that as well during the lunchtime. And then we have another experience in the afternoon. And I should also mention that because this is a DFI masterclass, there are master classes sprinkled throughout the day. 3 to 5 minutes from experts in their field who are going to share their professional or personal information with the ladies. And then we have the most phenomenal keynote in the afternoon. Her Royal Highness Rima Al-Saad.
Her Royal Highness Rima Bandar Al-Saad.
Yes.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
She's phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah, her Royal Highness, she has a really amazing story. She grew up between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. She's been the CEO of Harvey Nichols, which is a luxury retailer in Saudi Arabia. But she focuses heavily on the empowerment of women in her country. And so we really wanted to, and when I tell you she's made some tremendous changes, like there are things that did not exist that she helped to shape. And so we really want to hear her story. And then we're going to ask her some questions about what is the mindset that you have to take when you have to fight all of those barriers, when you have to be the person who brings about change. So you guys, this morning, you were talking about some of the things that we would like to see in Bermuda. Our goal is to help inspire some of the women of Bermuda to be the change that they want to see. And I think she's going to do an incredible job of, sharing kind of that journey and that mindset shift and some of the things that she had to struggle with in order to bring that to fruition in her own country. So we're really, really excited to have her as our main stage speaker in the afternoon.
Love it.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. So I know that the event is normally in person and it's going to be online this year. Will it be as engaging for attendees?
Well, that's our goal. I mean, one of the things that the team really struggled with as we were thinking about planning, because White Cheer Wisdom, I'm biased, it was my favorite event so far. It was really, really powerful. We had women, we were connecting, we had lunch tables, breakouts. It was very, very interactive. And so I said to the group in the conversation, what can we do to make sure that this event feels a little bit different? We're all a little zoomed out. And so what can we do? And so this year's event is what we're calling an experience event. For every person who's attending, we have an experience box. And so you're going to have to engage with the box to participate in the event. Again, we're going to have the networking. And so we're just, trying to put little touches here and there to make it a little bit of a different experience. It is November 12th. Mm-hmm. So it's the day after the holiday. It's a great way to head into the weekend, and it's also a great way to squeeze in some of those professional development hours and get some inspiration all at the same time. So that's kind of what we have planned, and we're going to try to make it special as we always do.
Absolutely. So talk to us about tickets. Where can they be purchased? How much are they?
Okay, so tickets are $129, and you can go to our website, www.iamdfi.com, and purchase your tickets there. And we're really blessed to be able to have GPass work with us to power our ticketing and registration. And so you can go to our website even right now and buy your ticket.
Awesome. So is there anything else that you'd like people to know about Design for Impact?
I think one of the most beautiful things about Design for Impact is that we are really trying to focus on generational learning. We don't just want the professional, or we don't just want the young adult. We want to really make a way for all women, all females, to be impacted by the work that we do. And so there have been times when we put on programming that was very similar to what we do for the adults for young girls who are tween to early teen, because we believe that, you know, we've got to start earlier and earlier, helping girls to realize their worth, helping girls to realize their potential, helping them try and figure out, at that age, you're trying to figure out, you know, who am I? So if we as women can mentor young girls and share with them the things that we've learned, you know, along this journey called life, I believe that we'll be able to give them a better chance at having an even better life experience than we do. And then also being able to plant that seed that says, I am designed for impact, and I can impact the community where I am right now while I'm 12, you know, and in the future.
Absolutely. I love it. So tell it, Leah, did you want to jump in?
I did. I just wanted to add one other thing. You know, when you look at what's happening in the world right now, there are so many divisions and divides. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, Assemble a Tribe, to try to encourage us to shift our mindset and the way that we think about coming together and creating relationships. And so one of the things that I think is really special about Design for Impact, you know, I came out of the insurance, reinsurance industry, but when I looked around, there were so many opportunities that were afforded to me that perhaps weren't available to other sectors. And so what I love about Design for Impact is that there's really a focus on including all of the women of Bermuda. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't really matter your background, but it shows up in so many ways in our content, in our attendees, in our amazing sponsors. We always have both international and local sponsors. And so I really think, you know, when we talk about being a part of the change that we want to see, some of that comes by coming together and really connecting and getting to know people in a different way. And so that, I think, has also been one of the things that's incredibly powerful about Design for Impact. And I think as a team, we're really proud that we've been able to bring Bermuda together in that way.
Absolutely. So let us know the times. What time does it start? What time does it end? Where can we get more information? All of that kind of stuff.
Social media handles. Yeah.
All of it.
Yes. So the conference is on November 12th, and it starts at 9 in the morning, and we will be wrapping around 4:30. And you can go to our website, www.iamdfi.com. But you can also check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for that. If you have any questions or comments for either Leah, Dean, or Maria Holder, please feel free to share them, and I will get them to you. But I want to pick on you, Miss Holder, because we have a comment from Terry Kay here. She says, "Oh my God, I remember Miss Holder from my Clearwater Middle School days." She's aging someone. She had this class teaching the girls how to be more confident as themselves. And I wanted to ask both of you. And now that we know this about your background, Ms. Holder, is what drives you to want to inspire other young girls? What's your key motivator?
I think for me, the key motivator is that I did have some very good mentors in my early teen years. But I looked around at my peers and they didn't really have the same thing that I had. So I felt like I was blessed. And I also felt like there are things that no one ever told me that I probably needed to know as I navigated through the years. And so I've always had a passion for reaching back and bringing others along so that you can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from the things that I've learned so that it can be a little bit easier for you, and maybe you can go even further than me. So I think that mentoring has always held a really wonderfully special place in my heart. And I really just try and put myself in their shoes. What would I want to know if I was them right now, going through what they're going through? What wisdom can I share that's going to help them navigate that?
Indeed, Miss Leah Dean.
Well, I think some of my passion comes from the fact that I'm now raising a daughter. But I think that passion was reaffirmed when I was doing some research, and I conducted my own survey. And what I found is that, most women, we've experienced some kind of rejection, and often it comes when we are quite young, and that starts to shape our relationship story. It causes us to shut down when really we need to be open. And so part of, I think, what inspires me is if I can create environments where people feel included, where they feel heard, then that's actually bringing something, I think, to the world. The data and statistics on low quality relationships and isolation is really stunning, right? When we're isolated, particularly as women, we're more likely to drink, to smoke, to suffer from eating disorders. It decreases our mortality. Like, there are so many reasons why we need to support each other. And I think that support has to come often at a younger age. And so that's one of the reasons why we always make sure that we have participation from our students, because we want to maybe open their minds to the possibilities at a younger age so that they can then become the leaders of the future for Bermuda. I don't think that there's anything that's more valuable than that.
I absolutely love conversations like this. And although, I sit back and observe while, Michaela does her thing, I think understanding why it's being done is my favorite part.
Yeah.
And the benefits of it is why I'm like, I think we will be better off in a few years because of this event. That's exactly how I look at these kinds of things, because I'm not sure if they were around for when I was young, for people in my age group. From what it seems, it's like people may have done their own things like in classrooms, but to have these kind of events and master classes, I think it's a wonderful thing. And I really, really hope that, it looks like, we have someone here. I hope people sign up. As Andrea D'Souza says, so excited to attend the conference in November. And I hope more people take advantage of this kind of stuff. Karen Simmons says, reaching back to bring someone forward with you. Love that mantra. And Terry K, P.S., I love that class, and it definitely shifted my mindset about creating sisterhood. Well, I want to speak about that mindset, because we speak about on this show all the time, regardless of the conversation, about mindset. How hard is it to shift the mindset to get, let's just be honest, male-dominated industries per se? You said you came from IB, I believe. It's male-dominated. Let's be honest, right? The statistics, recently. How do we shift the mindset to grow that sisterhood, to make women believe that the possibilities are there?
Well, what I will say, I'll just give a shameless plug. If you really want to get into the mindset stuff, you have to come, because we have an actual neuroscientist who is going to be sharing her tips and tools. But one of the things that she shared with me, which I like to share with the audiences that I speak with, is she said, listen, if you have a phone, I want you to think of your brain almost as your phone. and your mind is the app on your phone that tells your brain what to do. And so what she said, in terms of what that means from a relationship perspective, is that every day, in order to show up, to have better relationships, to change the future, we have to make some decisions and tell our brains what to do. We can choose to tear down, we can choose to speak negatively, we can entertain those negative thoughts, or we could say, you know what, I'm going to look for the good in this situation. I'm going to try to be supportive. And it's literally one day at a time. A lot of us say I can make a habit and change my mindset in 21 days if I just stick to it. Well, the way that I understand it from a neuroscience perspective is in 21 days, you have a tiny little pencil. If you want a big pencil, a big change in your neural pathways, you have to do that again and again and again. So I think we have to turn on that, what I call the tribe app, and really try to show up in our relationships differently. That's the thing that changes who we are and how we show up over time. It's that consistent shift.
All righty. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed the conversation. I've enjoyed listening. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with before you go?
I would just say it's not lost on us that this has been a really, really tough period for women around the world. I mean, just even within our own design team for Design for Impact, there have been losses and challenges. And so, ladies, we're just looking to provide something for you that helps you to maybe, even if it's just a few hours, to experience something different from what you've experienced in the last few years as we've been navigating this pandemic, something that gives you some hope, something that helps you to grow. And we just love to have you come out and spend the time with us. It is something that our team feels passionate about. It's something that I definitely personally feel passionate about. And I think that when we assemble in these types of spaces, it really can give you the inspiration to try again. So we hope to see you there November 12th. Tickets on www.iamdfi.com.
All righty. Thank you both for trusting our platform, having this conversation. We appreciate you. We have some questions out there, and I'll put them to Leah a bit later. But a few people are asking, what is that camera she's using? And
she looks amazing. I was about to say, this is like the best lit guest we've ever had.
Let me answer this for those in the audience, all right? One in particular. At the end of the day, Leah does this regularly. She's on a different show daily. Come on now, act like Follow her on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Yeah,
this is what she does.
It's a Canon something. I cannot take any credit. I asked my husband to hook me up, and he absolutely did. So it's a Canon something. I will. I'll leave a note under the show notes. I'll ask.
All righty. Thank you both so much, and all the best with this. Please let us know if there's anything else we can do. Talk soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
All righty. Leah, Dean, Maria Hoda, folks, if you enjoyed that conversation, appreciated the information, you know what to give her the thumbs up, a love, a like. Please, please, please make sure you show some love for the ladies doing positive things out there for the women in our community. We're going to take a quick break, and as well as we're going to replay the movement moment from yesterday, but do not go anywhere. We have a daily play, and you know how this works. If you guess it from Michaela, you win something big. All right, stick with us.
Welcome to this movement moment brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Together, we can illuminate your path to wellness.
Welcome to today's movement moment with Tamara Donnell, brought to you by People's. Tamara, what are we discussing today?
Good morning, Jamal, and good morning to your listening audience. We are carrying on with our horoscope of power. Honor, the power of legacy is our focus for October. One of my favorite books to read has been The 4 Agreements. Now, I cannot remember all 4 off the top of my head, but the agreement that stands out most to me is an honorable one, and that is to be impeccable with your words. Being impeccable with your words does not just mean your words to other people. For me, it includes being impeccable with my words to myself. Words have power and words matter. That's a mantra I repeat over and over. It's also a 2-part agreement. Always keep your promises, but also only make promises you can keep.
Thank you for tuning into this movement moment. To enjoy the benefits of the full episode, check us at Instagram at MVMT with Tamra Donnell or at People's BDA.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere. Daily Play coming right up.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio. Tune in every Tuesday through Sunday at 7 p.m. Bermuda time as we bring you the love, romance, sexiness with nighttime jams. Only on your station for conversations and entertainment. BCG Radio. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices.
All right, welcome back once again. Thank you so much to Leah Dean and Maria Holder from Design for Impact. Really appreciated that conversation. Folks, make sure you share these kinds of things. These are important conversations and master classes that are going on in the community. So once again, thanks to them, and make sure you sign up and learn more information about it. Thanks again to Medical House, Lindo's, One Communications, People's Pharmacy for making sure that we're able to do this with you. Now it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Michaela, are you ready?
Born ready.
All right, folks, you know how this goes. If you guess the answer before Michaela, you win big. It's a name that place today. Here we go. Which of the U.S.'s 50 states has the most coastline?
Has the most coastline? California. No? Texas? Florida. No? Coastline?
You all are so... I thought you... I knew you would guess California. Mexico's not a U.S. state, Michelle. Are you ready for the answer, folks?
Ask it again.
No one. Somebody got it. He Googled.
Hawaii?
He Googled. Alaska.
Really?
Alaska has the most coastline. I knew everyone would think California. Rhode Island's the smallest state in the United States. So it definitely...
Someone guessed Rhode Island. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Raquel,
Alaska.
Said Alaska.
Interesting.
She's cheating. She said the Carolinas trying to use both of them, South and North. Nope. Rhode Island. No, Rhode Island's the smallest state of the U.S. 50 states. So no.
Interesting. I'm not mad that I lost. I'm just shocked, honestly.
Alaska, folks. Yeah.
I didn't guess Alaska at all. I just feel like Alaska's not even really part of the U.S. It's like by Russia. So. That was a joke, people. Sarah Palin reference.
Well, folks, I honestly, I like this by Terry, though. She says, well, I did not know that. I did not know that. Honestly, I love when people learn something new on this show. I do.
Yeah.
But I did test my wife yesterday. She did get it on the third try. She got it third try. She guessed California first. Then she tested, she said Texas. And then she said Alaska. I thought people would think Florida after California.
Yeah, I thought
Florida goes right around from the Atlantic to the Gulf Coast.
Right. I was thinking Texas because it's such a big state. And then when Texas was wrong, I was like, okay, it has to be Florida because of the shape.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's okay. Alaska. Yeah, Alaska has the most coastline of the 50 U.S. states, folks. Kyle, what's your thoughts on today's show?
I thought this was a great conversation today. I think ultimately people just expect their government to be efficient and transparent. You know, like if we can be those two things, then I think that we would be in a much better position. I think, unfortunately, we're neither of those things right now. And so hopefully we can get there. Design for Impact. I think that's a great event. I think I'm going to register. I need to check my calendar, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to register because I think it's going to be a fantastic event. So thank you so much to both Leah and Maria for coming on.
Yeah. As far as government, people just want an honest government who does what's in the best interest of the people.
Yeah.
That it's that simple. That's my expectations are, honest people who do honest things.
Yes.
For the population. As far as what these ladies came to speak about, Leah Dean and Maria Hilda, I'm grateful for it. And to answer a question that came through, I believe it was Karen Simmons. She says, Jamel, when can you and your network of men facilitate a male empowered summit for young and older men? I'm interested. It's really all about getting the right people to do it with you. It's not something that can be done alone, and finding the right people to do those kind of things is the most challenging part. However, what I will say is I will continue to, with Michaela, Leanna, Sherry, and Larry, use this platform to do my part as far as it goes to discuss things that can empower.
No, absolutely. And I love the bit about mindset. And to Leah's point, I think it's just trying to get 1% better every day.
Indeed.
That's what it is. Like, it's not about taking these giant leaps and being like, all right, I'm going to lose weight, so I'm not going to eat anything but raw vegetables.
Right.
It's like that 1% every day. And then over time, you've got a huge change.
There goes my raw vegetable diet tomorrow. No inspiration, Kels.
Oh gosh, I just had it up and now it's gone. All right. This is from Shaquille O'Neal.
A Shaxter.
Yes, there are 7 days in the week, and some day isn't one of them.
Ooh, there we go, Shaq. There you go, Shaq. The big man has spoken. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Michaela Ian. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, please do make it a great day.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I've got my mug. It's empty, but I'm gonna pretend I'm drinking.